This is my sister Steph, and since the age of 3, she has been living as part of the autistic spectrum. I sat down with Steph and our mother to discuss their autism experiences and hope to raise awareness and share knowledge for the disability. All footage from this documentary has been approved by the pair and are both happy to share their stories.
What is a definition of autism? It's a social skills issues, and you have fixations and obsessions, and you find it hard to give eye contact and communicate. I empathise with other people with autism. I can give other people voices who have severe autism, and I'm in care. I like being in care, and I think if I didn't have autism I wouldn't be in care and I wouldn't understand others with autism. The reason I'm in care, there's a few reasons. I had a lot of issues when I was at school, and I became violent towards my mum and my middle sister, and it was very difficult to control my behaviour, and I was very, very, very bad. It got so bad I used to bring out knives and everything, and it was quite bad, and partly it was because my dad didn't help my mum either, so it made it difficult for my mum. And then I had my little sister to think. My mum had to think about my little sister to see what was safe for her and my other sister. That's the reason why I'm in care. My real dad, he a few years ago he said to me that I was the reason that my mum and him split up. He said I was a burden. He doesn't see me, he doesn't really want to know me and stuff like that. But I have an amazing stepfather who is incredible, and he's brought me up since I was 3 years old, and I couldn't ask for a better man to be my dad. My school experience, at 4 till 7 I was at a school called Fireways, and I really enjoyed it. But then the social services put me in another school called Fairmead, and it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. No one understood my disabilities, no one understood anything. There was one teacher that was really good with me called Mr. Carter, but the other teachers just didn't understand. I was the only kid in school that was in full-time care. I was getting bullied a lot, I was getting picked on. I hated school so much. When I turned 12 to 13, I didn't go to school. I refused to go to school, and mum struggled with that, getting me to school and stuff like that. I find it frustrating when people call me retard, spastic and stuff like that. I also, on social media, I see it a lot, and I get called potato head a lot, I get called egghead a lot, and I just wish people would understand we are humans just like everybody else. We have feelings, and it so annoys me seeing so many people like myself and people with other disabilities getting picked on because of their disabilities. I get scared every day when my mum passes away, because she's like been there for me since I was born, and I'm scared that I won't be able to cope without my mum, and I won't see a familiar face very often. But I will have my beautiful sister who is filming this, being my next of kin, and she will look after me so much. I do worry in the future that I could die at a young age because of my health conditions and my asthma and stuff like that, because I've known a lot of people who have died at a young age, like 50s and the 60s.
Autism wasn't identified or diagnosed until 1943, and research into the disability didn't take place until 1986. This means that parents and guardians looking after an autistic child had no support or knowledge on how to deal with a disability. This left a lot of parents in the dark, struggling to raise their child. My mother is an example of one of those.
Autism. I think the first time I came across anybody with a mental disability was when I walked up through Sherborne at a young age in the beginning of the 80s. I was with my mum, and there were residents that came from Cold Harbour, which was a mental sort of institution in Sherborne, and they're walking down the road, and my mum crossed me to the other side of the road. She took my arm and she made me cross the road. Maybe because she didn't want any interaction with them, maybe she didn't want to start speaking to them in case they said anything to her. But I knew that it wasn't the right thing to do. It's like she didn't want me to speak to them, make any eye contact with them, or maybe she just worried that they were going to do something unpredictable. Little did I know how much autism would affect me later in life. I was 20 when I found out I was pregnant. I was married, my first husband. I gave birth to Steph on the 19th of June 1990, and I was just 21. There were a lot of complications with her from the minute go. She had many hospital appointments. First of all, they thought she was deaf, then they thought she had water on the brain. It was the age of 3 that we were taken into a small room, and we were told by the doctor she had autism. At that point, there were no phones. We couldn't Google what autism was. There weren't any books on autism. There was very little known about autism. There wasn't even any leaflets given to us. We were just told that's what she had. There wasn't much future for her, and we just had to get on and deal with it. And there wasn't much support. She went to a specialist nursery. We were told that she could go to a specialist school, and then that was it. We had many years of hospital appointments, very difficult years leading up to when she was 14. Many troublesome times with her, many medications we tried, one being Ritalin, which had awful side effects. In the end, it just got too much at home, and you know, it was very difficult. We were isolated as a family, and autism ruled us, and it was very difficult to do anything with Steph without her kicking off. In the end, it was a decision, really hard decision, but we decided the best place was to put her into care, where we could still see her and visit her, but it was a place that then she was safe, and people would hopefully help her, and it would keep my other children safe at home. Although Steph is doing really well, she has her own flat, she has carers that look after her. Her physical side has really gone downhill this year, and that's another aspect of autism that people don't realise. And hopefully the future will look bright for her, but we really have no idea.
If you both had the option to cure Steph's autism, would you, and why?
I would not cure my autism because it makes me the person I am today, and I can empathise with people. I can give other people a voice who can't speak and can't communicate, and I can give autism awareness on TikTok and YouTube and my social media platform.
Up to probably this year, I would say I wouldn't change. I mean, I still wouldn't change Steph for the world. I love her to bits, and she is adorable just the way she is, and I just love her 100%. But this year's been very difficult physically with her, and she's had illnesses, so I'd like to take that one aspect away from her so she wouldn't have to suffer with illnesses with her autism.
Your judgments and opinions of the disabled community have been originated and created by society and generations before you. People have self-consciously taught you that being different is wrong. I can't describe how upset it makes me to see these comments made towards people with disabilities. My sister suffers every day in public by the looks, comments, and rejections to fit in because she has autism. She isn't any different to you. She isn't autism, she's a person who lives with it. I am so proud of her that no matter the hate she suffers with, she's still adamant that she wouldn't cure her autism. It's inspiring to see her continue through the community and life, even when it gets hard. If you have a disability, don't hide it. Show it, express it, love it, because it makes you, you. And if you see someone in public who has a visual disability, remember this documentary and embrace their differences. Make them feel accepted no matter their actions.
Just because I have a disability,
It doesn't make her any different.
to all of you.